So if you play DBD often, I'm sure you've probably run into people who try to shame you into playing the game the way that they want you to play. For instance, how many Survivor players have you seen that tell you to don't camp or tunnel or don't run NOED or don't play Spirit or Freddy or Deathslinger or any of the other killers that are very strong? And don't you even fucking think of using that iridescent add-on. Don't you even consider it. Don't even let the thought enter your mind. However, this does happen for both sides though, because as a Survivor player, if you're a Survivor player, you might also get a lot of this, where killers don't want you to run certain perks such as Decisive Strike and Unbreakable. Maybe they'll face camp you and call you a douchebag if you run a flashlight. Some killers will even get mad at you if you're just playing with your friends and being in comms with your friends while you play. Now, obviously, you can chalk a lot of this up to just random people on the internet being salty about video games, which I'm sure you can chalk up a lot of it to, but I think there is a reasonable explanation for some of it, and I kind of want to discuss it. So we're going to be taking this video to talk about the honor code of Dead by Daylight, or at least what was once the honor code of Dead by Daylight. Now, before going into this is not a biased discussion towards either side for killer or survivor. This is just something I've observed over the years, and I just want to bring to light something that I have seen that has developed in DBD, and I want people to understand it a little bit better. So, given DBD's asymmetrical nature, it's kind of very easy for one side to have very annoying things to deal with that the other side doesn't. This can obviously lead to a lot of frustration. Like, for instance, to compare this to another game, if anybody in here has ever played Overwatch over the last 4 or 5 years of it being a popular game, you may realize that characters like Mei, for instance, are very obnoxious in a game like that. And for the people who don't play Overwatch that won't get this reference, just understand that Mei is a character that freezes you slowly and holds you in place, and then you just die. And it's very, very frustrating and very infuriating to go against. However, in a game like Overwatch, it is not asymmetrical. For instance, if you're playing against a Mei and she's killing you often, you can switch to Mei yourself and also have a Mei on your side. Dead by Daylight is not like this. If you're a killer player and you're going up against 4 survivors that are all running really, really strong perks and abusing maybe a strong area of the map or doing something that you find really annoying, you can't just equip those things and do it yourself. You don't have those tools. The same thing can be said for Survivor. If you're going up against a killer who's running overpowered add-ons and then also face camping every person that they catch, that's really obnoxious, but you can't turn around and do that back. You can't even the score with them. You just have to use your own tools and try to fight back however you can. This is what leads to a lot of the frustration that you see in the game and a lot of the hatred towards both sides. Now, if we go back in time, way back in time, to when Dead by Daylight first released, the player base was much smaller. Here, I can even show you the Steam charts to show you that right now the game averages about 40,000 players on average. And back in the day, for the whole first year of the game being released, and even a little bit longer, the game averaged anywhere from 10K to maybe upwards of 15K and higher sometimes, but it was about an average of a 10K player base. So it had about a fourth of the player base that it has now. On top of that, you also used to be able to select your region that you played in. So a large percentage of the community, especially people that watch different Twitch streamers and YouTubers, would all select the Toronto region as a region to play on, and everybody kind of played together as a group of people that knew each other. It was a very tight-knit community, and everybody kind of knew each other, and it wasn't just random people that you were playing against. You would run into the same people all the time. Now, if you've ever been a part of a tight-knit community like this, you know that it's kind of natural for forms of kind of an honor code to arise. And that's exactly what happened. For a very, very long time of this game being out, while the Toronto servers were active, a lot of people played the game in a way where they tried to make sure that the other side had fun. Survivors that were running up towards an infinite window that they knew were unfair would literally let themselves die instead of vaulting the window because they knew it was unfair and they knew it was unfun. And likewise, the killer that downed them would more often than not put them on the hook and not camp them because they knew that they were going out of their way to make the game fun, so they would do the same. Everybody just kind of played the game in a way that was fun, and they didn't stress too much about who was the best and who was the best player and who, like, am I going to get the kills? Am I going to survive? Everyone just wanted to have fun, and they wanted the other side to have fun as well. Now, don't get me wrong. When I say this, I'm not trying to say that this is the correct way that things should be. because I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to win the game at all costs. I think if you're somebody that wants to take the game seriously and you want to get 4 kills every single game as a killer, or if you want to survive every game as a survivor, there is nothing wrong with that, and I'm not trying to say that that's an inaccurate way to look at the game. But it's also very important to understand that this is how it was for a decently long time. What changed all this was an update came from behavior at one point. I can't remember exactly when, but I would guess it would probably be around late 2017 to early 2018, where they added their own internal matchmaking where it didn't go off of Steam servers anymore, and that kind of destroyed the entire Toronto server. People from EU that used to come over and play on Toronto servers and have fun with people from NA that they knew were then region locked to EU. People that lived in the more southern or western parts of America couldn't play with the people that were in the northern and eastern parts. And it really split up the player base that once was a very tight-knit community. On top of that, Dead by Daylight also just has a crazy growing player base, and there is constantly new players coming in all the time. Both of these things kind of slowly led to this honor code, this honor system, to kind of slowly fade out, as the new players obviously don't even know anything about the honor system because they've never been a part of the tight-knit community, and even the people that were a part of the tight-knit community kind of got split up and weren't even playing with or against each other anymore. So just to talk about the honor system, how do I feel about it? I don't necessarily think that it's a wrong thing to have. I don't think it's bad for people to want the game to be fun for both sides. As a matter of fact, back then was probably some of the most fun I've ever had with this game because everybody just wanted everybody to have fun, and you very rarely got games that were frustrating. Almost every game was a good time. I don't think the ideology of the honor code system is bad in theory. I think it sounds like a very good idea, and it can be very, very good and healthy. However, I think at this stage of the game, I think it's time to abandon the idea. I think of a lot of the times that people complain about things in the game that they don't find fun or fair, or when they complain about the other side playing a certain way. I think if they're doing it in a way that's constructive, or even sometimes when they're not being constructive, it just comes from a place of them wanting the game to be fun. Don't get me wrong, sometimes it's just them being malicious assholes. This obviously isn't every single case scenario. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even say it's most. I would say it's more like some. Some of the time, it's just them wanting the game to be fun. They just want the game to be fun for both sides. They don't want the game to be miserable. They want the game to be like it used to be. So if you're somebody that doesn't know anything about this honor code system, I think it's really good to keep that in mind when it comes to people complaining about that kind of thing. Sometimes they're assholes, but sometimes they just want the game to be the best it can be. But likewise, I think I have a message for the people that are still trying to honor code system the game in the current year as well. I think it's kind of time to abandon that. There's nothing wrong with wanting the game to be fun for the other side, and even when I play Killer and Survivor, I try to do that myself. If you watch me often, you'll know that I usually don't run perks that I find to be obnoxious. For instance, I don't run Decisive Strike on Survivor very often. In very few cases, I sometimes will. Same thing with like NOED on Killers. There are certain perks that I don't necessarily think are overpowered, but I just think they're very annoying. And I don't use them just because I don't want to ruin other people's fun. I know that I can do well without them, and I would rather the game be enjoyable for everybody involved if possible. And in a perfect world where everybody did that, that would be a great plan. However, with how big the player base is now, there's really no possible way for that to be a thing. You're pretty much always going to be running into the majority of your games being people that don't give a fuck about your fun and just want to win. And it's really hard to talk people into playing that way when they're going against constantly people that are ruining their fun. For instance, try telling a killer that they should not run NOED and not tunnel people or camp people because the survivors want to have fun. Meanwhile, the survivors are all running the most OP shit and bringing in items that they know are annoying and obnoxious and playing in a way that they know is annoying, such as like teabagging and flashlight clicking and stuff, which, don't get me wrong, I don't mind that stuff myself, but people know that pisses killers off, and then they do it, and then they wonder why killer players play a certain way. But again, I think there's both sides of this argument because I think you can say the same thing from the other side. I think a lot of survivors play that way because they're probably sick of the annoying things that the killer do. It's a vicious cycle where a survivor player will go into a game and possibly get camped or tunneled or deal with some really annoying shit, and then they'll get frustrated, and then they'll start running annoying shit. And then the killers that they play against will then start running more annoying shit because they're getting frustrated going against them. And it's just a vicious circle where everybody just stops giving a fuck about the other side because you're like, why would I care about them when they clearly don't care about me? And then you just do whatever you need to do to win. And I feel like that's kind of where the community is at right now. It seems like the honor code system is pretty much out the window. There are some people that still do that stuff. There's like a very small percentage of people that will go out of their way to try to make sure the game is fun for the other side. But most people don't give a fuck. Most people just want to win. And I think if you're somebody that's still trying to hold on to that honor code system, if you want to do it, that's okay. If you want to make the game fun for people, that's okay. But please stop trying to force others to do the same, especially in a way that's like attacking them. It's not okay for you to tell somebody after the game to stop running a perk just because you want them to. That's not how video games work. If people want to run things, they're going to run things regardless. And especially with the current state of the game, it's completely unrealistic to expect them to do anything else. Unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world, and honestly, I don't even know if an honor code system like what we had before is even possible at all in current Dead by Daylight with how big the player base is, especially with how much the game has evolved as well, because different people get frustrated at different things now. But back in the day, there was less things in the game, so it was a lot easier to determine what was the annoying things and what weren't. Now there's so many perks, there's so many different things that you can do, there's so many different playstyles that it's really hard to determine what even is good or bad overall, because some people might like one thing and then hate another, and another person's opinions might be the complete opposite. I'm not really sure what else to say without going in circles even more. I kind of just wanted to get this off my chest because it's something I've been thinking about for a long time, and I also know that a lot of people didn't really know where this entire mentality came from. And I kind of just wanted to explain a little bit and talk about it. So please let me know what you guys think. Like let me know what you think. Do you wish the honor code system was still there? Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's stupid as shit? Let me know what you think, because I'm really curious. This is something that I think is very important to people, although maybe I could be wrong. But I'm definitely curious to hear people's thoughts. So please let me know. If you guys like this video and you like videos like this, also let me know, because I like doing videos like this where I kind of just talk about something that's on my mind, and I don't even know if you guys care or not. I kind of just do it anyway because, I don't know, it's fun for me. So please let me know. If you guys like these videos, let me know, because I'm down to do more. I'm down to just throw on some random background footage of gameplay and talk about the game. I love doing this kind of stuff. Like the video if you guys enjoyed it. Sub to the channel as well. I'm uploading every other day at least, if not every day, if I'm feeling good for that particular week. And come by my Twitch channel as well, twitch.tv/OhTofu. And thank you guys so much for hanging out. I love you guys. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night. I'm out of here. See ya. Take care. See ya. I'm out of here. See ya. I'll see you later. See ya.